She cheated on me, now she's stuck with a guy who won't even touch her. Chapter 1. The day she walked out. I remember the day she told me it was over. 7 years together, gone in a sentence. She didn't cry, didn't flinch. She just said, "I've met someone else," like we were some failed experiment, like the home we built together could be so easily packed up and discarded. She left her key on the counter and walked out without looking back. That was the last time I saw her as the woman I used to know. The worst part? I didn't even see it coming. Sure, things had been stale, routine. But I thought we were just going through a rough patch. She was always on her phone, suddenly working late, but I didn't think twice. Love makes you blind. I thought she needed space. What she needed was someone else's attention. And she found it, in some guy she barely knew. The nights that followed were long and heavy. I couldn't sleep without reaching for her side of the bed. My apartment, once warm, felt like a ghost town. I deleted our photos. I blocked her everywhere. I tried to erase her, but heartbreak isn't that easy. It took everything in me not to spiral. So I poured my pain into progress. I hit the gym. I dove into work. I booked a solo trip overseas. Every new milestone was a reminder I could live without her. And slowly I started to feel whole again. Funny thing is, when you finally stop looking back, the past always finds a way to knock on your door again. It happened when a mutual friend texted me out of the blue, someone I hadn't spoken to in nearly a year. He said he had something to tell me about her. Said he probably shouldn't, but he just couldn't keep it to himself anymore. I told him I didn't care, that I'd moved on. But deep down, part of me already knew something was about to unravel. Chapter 2. The update I didn't ask for. When I saw his name pop up, I hesitated. It had been nearly a year since I'd last heard from Marco, the guy who introduced me to her in the first place. He always played the middle, neutral, supportive of us both, which is probably why he drifted away when things ended. So when he messaged me saying, "I shouldn't tell you this," I almost ignored it. But curiosity? It's a dangerous thing. I told him I didn't care. I had moved on, built a new life, left the past where it belonged. But he kept typing. Turns out he'd stayed in touch with her. Not on purpose at first, but she'd been reaching out a lot lately. And not just to catch up, she'd been venting, complaining, sounding desperate. "She's not doing too well," he said. Apparently the guy she left me for? Not quite the prize she thought he was. From what Marco told me, the man is bisexual, but leans heavily toward men. About 80% to be exact. They barely even sleep together. And now she's feeling rejected, confused, and stuck. At first I didn't know what to feel. Pity? Anger? Satisfaction? All I could do was shake my head. After everything she did, after how quickly she threw me away for someone she barely knew, this was where she landed? Marco said she's been complaining constantly. About how cold the guy is. How distant. She thought she'd found someone exciting, someone who lit her up, but instead she got silence and indifference. Funny how that works. And here's the kicker. A few weeks ago Marco offered her a job lead, something small to help her make some extra money. She took it the wrong way. Tried to flirt with him. Tried to offer herself like that was still a valid currency. He was uncomfortable. He shut her down. And that's when it hit me. She hadn't changed at all. Still relying on her looks, still trying to fix her life with temporary attention, still searching for someone to save her instead of saving herself. I leaned back in my chair after I read Marco's message. And for the first time in a long time, I laughed. Not because I was happy she was miserable, but because I realized how far I'd come. How peaceful it felt to feel nothing. And then Marco said something else, something I wasn't ready for. Chapter 3. The man she chose. Marco's next message hit harder than I expected. "She told me she regrets everything," he wrote. I stared at the screen for a moment, letting the words sink in. Regret. After all this time? After cutting me off, parading her new relationship like a trophy, and acting like I never mattered? Apparently, it all started unraveling a few months ago. The guy she left me for, the one she thought would be her upgrade, had grown increasingly distant. Cold even. He stopped touching her. Stopped looking at her the way she was used to. And when she confronted him, he confessed something she hadn't expected. He wasn't sure he was attracted to women anymore. She tried to play it cool, but I know her. Her ego is built on validation. On attention. And when that was gone, she began to spiral. Marco said she started reaching out to people from her past. Flirting, fishing, throwing out little signals. Anything to feel wanted again. But the sad part? No one bit. Not even Marco. And when she tried to blur the lines with him, he set a boundary. That's when she broke. She told him she was tired, broke, and feeling like she'd made the biggest mistake of her life. And honestly, I didn't feel sorry for her. I just felt detached. I used to think she was the love of my life. Now, I saw her for what she really was, someone who never learned to sit with her own emptiness. She just kept trying to fill the void with new people, new thrills, new bodies. Marco ended the message with a warning. She asked me if I thought you'd ever talk to her again, he said. I think she might try to reach out soon. I didn't reply right away. I just stared at those words, letting them sit heavy in my chest. Not because I was tempted, but because I knew what she'd say. I could already hear her voice, her carefully rehearsed apology, the way she'd twist the story. But the truth? I wasn't angry. Not anymore. I was just wondering how someone could fall so far, and still think you'd be there waiting at the bottom. And then, 2 nights later, I got the message. Chapter 4. Her message, my silence. The message came in at 11:47 p.m. It was from an unknown number, but I didn't need to guess. I knew that rhythm. That over-punctuated text. The way she used ellipses like breadcrumbs. Hey, I know I'm probably the last person you want to hear from, but I've been doing a lot of thinking lately, and I just wanted to say I'm sorry. For everything. I stared at it for a long time. No anger. No surge of emotion. Just silence. I had rehearsed this moment 1,000 times in my head. Back when I was broken, desperate for her to realize what she threw away. I used to dream of her crawling back, admitting she was wrong and begging for another chance. But when the moment finally came, it didn't feel like victory. It felt like proof that I had healed. I didn't reply. Not that night. Not the next day. I didn't owe her a response. Not after what she did and not after how hard I had to fight to put myself back together. Instead, I opened a notebook I hadn't touched in months. The one I used during therapy, filled with scrawled notes, mantras, pieces of myself I had tried to recover. On the back page I had once written, "Closure isn't something they give you. It's something you give yourself." She messaged again 2 days later. Then again a week after that. Her words grew heavier, more emotional, more manipulative. "You don't have to forgive me. I miss you. He's not who I thought he was. I was stupid. You were always the one who truly loved me. And maybe I did. What?" But that love had burned away with every unanswered message, every photo she posted with him, every night I cried into a pillow she used to sleep on. I told Marco about it. He just said, "You already won. Don't reopen the door you finally had the strength to close." I wanted to believe I was past it. That her words meant nothing. But that last message, that last one? It shook something loose. Chapter 5. The Power of Walking Away. Her last message came late on a Sunday night. "I don't even know who I am anymore. I feel like I ruined the only real thing I ever had. I know it's too late, but if you ever wanted to talk, I'm here." I read it once. Then again. Slowly. And then I set my phone down and looked around the apartment I now called mine, filled with new furniture, new art, and a new kind of peace I'd carved out of chaos. There was a time I would have clung to every word she sent, looking for cracks, for signs that she still loved me, for an excuse to go back. But this time, I saw her words for what they were. A mirror, reflecting who she still was and who I no longer had to be. She wanted someone to fix it all. But I had already done that, for myself. I could have answered. Could have said something cruel or poetic or wise. But the most powerful thing I've ever done was nothing. Because silence in the right moment is not indifference. It's clarity. And I finally had it. I don't know where she is now. I don't ask. I don't check. But I do hope she finds whatever she's been chasing all these years. I hope one day she learns how to sit with herself and not run. As for me, I'm good. Better than good. I'm free. And funny enough, the guy she left me for, the one who barely touches her, who likely never really wanted her at all. I used to hate him. Now, I silently thank him.